Hi, this is Dottie the Psychic, and this is going to be shameless self-promotion with Zack Frame. I'm going to upload the link real quick. There he is. Hi, this is Dottie the Psychic.
Hello.
And... All right, introduce yourself.
Hello. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am Zack Frame, a.k.a. The Optimist, and I'm here with Dottie just to tell you guys, I guess, since this is my shameless self-promotion, I'm a tarot reader, an empath, clairsentient, an educator, card reader, life coach, a little bit of everything, kind of a jack of all trades. If you're interested in just following me, finding me, private readings. We're going to talk about, lots of great stuff, I guess, this evening. So you can find me
on YouTube. Tell us a little bit about, I know you just got a new degree. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where did you get it from?
I went to, it's an online school. It's a non-secular degree, and it's called IMHS, the Institute of Metaphysical Humanistic Science. When I was doing, shortly after I finished grad school, I was kind of made it my own personal goal to bridge the gap between science and spirituality. Because, so often people consider those things mutually exclusive. God and evolution can't exist simultaneously. So I just, I found this school, kind of as an accident. And I wasn't even sure if it was a real school when I first found it. But they offer a bachelor's, a master's, and PhD program. It's an accelerated program. It's exclusively online. You get to pace yourself. You can do it in as little as, when I enrolled 8 years ago, you can do it in as little as 3 months or as long as you need. And I tend to take my time. Go ahead.
I said I would probably take my time too. Like, I can't do self-paced courses.
For sure. And without deadlines, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it weren't for deadlines, we wouldn't get anything done. So as it took me so long, was to really process the information and kind of synthesize that. But the best part of the program was just the self-growth and the self-development and the self-work. It's like the whole bachelor's program portion of it is learning boundaries, learning how to fight off codependence. Sometimes we engage in unhealthy behaviors that we don't realize are unhealthy, and we push those behaviors on other people, thinking, honestly, with our heart in the right place, thinking it is the right thing to do, but we're stepping on boundaries that we don't realize we're stepping on, and we're doing things that we shouldn't. So, but now I've finished the program, and I'm doing the life coaching thing and helping other people to learn where those boundaries are, to learn where the love of your heart can actually deny other people an opportunity to learn lessons if you're not, aware of that.
Sorry, I wish I could paste the link in a couple different places while we talk. That has not gone as planned.
Hey, listen, it's just another example of the magician, the reverse magician, kind of like throwing his energy around today. If you don't mind me taking a moment to talk about that.
Go ahead, tell me about. I know you're doing like a whole, 78 days of tarot. Are you intentionally working through deck? Definitely tell me about that. I know you've got on your YouTube channel. You've been putting them up, and I tell you, about the time you hit the 5 of Wands, I noticed the 5 of Wands started having all these communication issues.
Right. I think the big one was that 3 of Cups when the first time I couldn't decide. So I'm doing a 78 days of tarot. So we're going through 1 card a day as we progress through all 78 cards. And traditionally, when we go through like the Fool's Journey, we go straight through chronologically. The Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, just straight through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But now I get bored with that. I get so bored, so easy, and life doesn't happen chronologically like that. And so I felt like by going through the journey this way, we can learn the things that are necessary as they come about, rather than just kind of overwhelm ourselves learning everything all at once. We can learn what's relevant as we come through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I know. Oh my God. I tell you what, I did do one time. I did do a practice much like that. What is it doing? Okay, stop. I quit. Forget you, Facebook. Sorry. I'm trying to do two things at once and I'm stupid. I did do a practice. It took me more than 78 days because girls got brain issues and couldn't keep up sometimes. But I went through every single card and tried to study it. And I did a deck that had like names on it, had like letters or words on it, so that I didn't have to try and look it up in the book because, as a psychic, we all feel that's a bit tacky, even though it's perfectly acceptable, especially when you're studying it yourself. You should probably look at the book, but I went through each card and I noticed like if I got stuck on a card, like if I didn't like study it that night, if I left it for a day or two to sit, it would start to manifest. Like bad.
Right. And I think that's the thing is like, because when you pick a card for the day, originally when I started the journey, I was wanting to like get the card up at 8:00 in the morning so people could see the card and see how it plays out through the day. But then when the card's manifestation started interfering with my own day, it was like, well, hell, I guess I have to do it this way. You know what I mean? Like with the reverse Three of Cups, the Three of Cups is about community involvement. It's about friendship. It's about connection with people, And the morning I was trying to post, it was the first morning that I didn't get it up before 8 a.m. And it's like I tried to post it and it just wouldn't post. It kept freezing. Every time I went into the Facebook app, it crashed. And it wouldn't let me do it. But it was a reversed Three of Cups. And that was indicating the blockage to the community, the blockage to the friendship. And so I was like, okay, well, obviously I don't get to choose how this journey is going to go for me any more than I get to choose it for anyone else,
Right.
So I just kind of went with it. But like yesterday, I like to pull my cards the day before, pull them out of the 3 decks that I work with, get my written description together, write out my stuff, and then the next morning I'll make a video that kind of pulls it all together. And I swear, I spent 20 minutes, and I know it seems excessive, but I was looking through my cards trying to find the magician for today, and I could not find it. This magician had pulled a disappearing act on me. It was not in the box at all. And I went through and I was doing this number. I was really like trying to make sure that none of the cards were sticking together, that they were not attached to each other. It wasn't there 4 times. Finally, I gave up. I said, I don't know. We'll just try again tomorrow. And I went in to the back reading room where I get all my stuff together. And it was the 3rd card.
You know what? This kind of leads into what we were going to originally talk about, was that whole law of attraction and that release of expectations. I don't know what it is, but it seems like sometimes about the time that I lose my shit and give up is when it starts to work. And I don't know if that's like part of that whole, a thought form that I have created, or if that just seems to be how things flow. Because we had so many technical issues. Because I know we did a test yesterday, and about the time we were ready to give up and walk away, we finally got this thing up and running just for a minute. Just long enough to say we could do it.
It's funny because there's a book by his name's Michael Lozier, and he wrote a book called The Law of Attraction, and it's one of the few books that I've read on the law of attraction that I feel like actually provide practical, useful, tangible information that you can use. And I mean, there's 3 major steps, but the 3rd one is allowing it. It's allowing it to happen. And I feel like in those moments when you throw your hands up and you walk away, it's like you've put so many seeds of intention while you're looking for it. You're like, I'm trying to find it. But then every time you don't find it, you get angry. And that anger, that frustration is flipping that switch on the law of attraction. And it's kind of making it harder to find what you're looking for. When you finally throw your hands up and say, F it, I'm done. Like, that's when you've let go, you've allowed it, and now those seeds have time to actually grow. You know, I mean, that's my hypothesis with it, because why that is pretty consistent. You know,
Right. You know what? I can totally buy that because I know that I have. Oh my god! Like I know I have a learning disorder. It's just part of who I am. So every now and then, I'm going to set stuff in the wrong place. But there will be times where I know that I have put something in a specific place, and it's like it's invisible. It's like I will look over it 3 times while I'm panicking in need of whatever this thing is. The last time, because I work with, I work with less fortunate people, and I had this woman's social security card. And I put it in a very special place because you take care of people's social security cards.
yeah,
You don't
right.
want that to go. And I looked and looked. I tore my office apart. And it was like it had accidentally gotten paperclip. It was in the same spot, but it had been somehow paperclipped to the back of a page. So when I went to lift that paper to look for the Social Security card, it had stuck to the back of a previous page. I was like,
wow.
"You got to be kidding me!" I was like,
That is not where I put that.
That is not where I put that. Not at all where I put that. It's exactly where it was exactly where I had left it. I'm like, you gotta be. I literally had looked in the same spot 3 times, and until I'd had my little nervous breakdown of mine, I couldn't find it.
So I think that's one of those things, like just how the manifestation was playing out. The magician had played kind of a disappearing act on me, and he did show up, but then the energy has consistently kind of off and on manifested throughout the day. So if you've got conscious awareness, action, control, and you've got that reverse, well, now the control's not so much in your hands. You don't have so much power to manifest in those moments. And so I think it's been kind of interesting watching how that has played out through the day, you know?
I know, right? So looks like we've got 2 viewers. Does anybody in there have a question?
Questions.
Nope. Oh, continue
okay.
to rattle on.
Well, shout outs to them. What was it? There was something that I did want to say, and then that was really kind of the okay. So here's something I want to leave, like not leave with people, but just like something that you can walk away with this particular podcast in terms of the law of attraction. I think a lot of people think that. Let me back up. So with the law of attraction, we are vibrational beings, and we are constantly emitting an energy, emitting a positive or a negative vibration at all times, always, whether you know it or not. If you've got life in you, you are breathing this vibration. And think of it as like a light switch. The light switch is either on or off, and on is when you're emitting the positive vibes, off is when it's negative. And it's always the last thing that comes out that determines whether your light switch is off or on. So if you get mad and you say blah, 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 well, you've just turned your light switch off and it's off until you turn it back on again. And the universe always brings you back more of what you put out. So if you're sending good out, good comes in. If you're sending bad out, bad comes back in. And even if it's something as simple as just being grumpy because you stubbed your toe, like there's still some subtle vibration that kind of goes out with that. So
Yeah.
A lot of times, I think the biggest problem, and you could probably attest for this, Dottie, people say things like, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. Oh, I don't want to get sick. And then they get sick.
So they make themselves sick.
They make themselves sick because they spend so much time focusing on what it is that they don't want. The universe doesn't hear don't, not, and no. Those words just don't really exist to the universe. So if you keep saying, I don't want to get sick, I don't want to get sick, all it hears is get sick, boom, you're sick. I don't want this to happen. I don't want that. Well, what do you actually want? When you start to shift your thinking away from that general like negative, even though it doesn't feel negative. I don't want to get sick. That's not a negative thing to say, right? That feels great. That's true to you, but it's still a negative. It's a net negative, right? So you want to stay healthy. You want to be healthy. You want to feel fabulous ultimately, right?
Right.
So if we focus on the things that we want rather than the things that we don't want, we provide more
Okay,
opportunities
you
for
know,
the
this is one of the
universe.
things I know this is my problem with law of attraction. And
Okay.
I'm not saying I disbelieve in it because God knows I've seen people do things, whether it was a subconscious thing or an energetic thing, that when they have that platform, they do create it. But how do you negate something like that? Like you're walking around, especially somebody who is like, who has a mental illness,
Okay.
somebody who's chronically depressed. I always thought this is one thing I never did like about the law of attraction. It's almost draconian, I guess is probably the best way to put it, because you get into a bad place, and then how are you supposed to work your way out of that bad place? Like,
I think that's reasonable, and I think that's a totally fair argument, especially if you're like, I think this is why affirmations don't work, right? Because like people say positive affirmations. If you're fat and you feel unattractive and you feel fat, standing in front of the mirror and saying, "I feel
I'm thin.
beautiful," right? That doesn't do shit for you. That makes you feel worse. That
Oh, it
just
does stretch down.
it does. It is not helpful. And again, and I go back to Michael Lozier because it's the first book that I've read that I've like felt like, oh, well, this is practical knowledge. I can apply this. So it's hard to stay if you're feeling unattractive. It's hard to stand in front of a mirror and say, I am beautiful. However, it's a little easier and believable to say, I am in the process of becoming beautiful. The trick is the emotion behind the affirmation. If you say an affirmation and you don't believe it, you're lying to yourself. That again is a negative vibration. It is counterproductive. It doesn't do what the affirmation is supposed to do because you're lying to yourself. But if you know that you want to be beautiful, you know you got to lose some weight, you know you got to clean up your eating, you know you got to cut out the sugar. Stand in front of the mirror and say, you know what? I am in the process of becoming beautiful, and I am in the process of cutting out sugar or whatever it is. You still have
Right.
to repeat those affirmations. You still have to repeat them, but I'm in the process of blah is a whole lot more attainable. It is a whole lot more believable, and it's going to make the affirmation more effective. If you believe what you're saying, then that positive vibration that you're radiating out to the universe and be like, oh, so you want to get thin, so you want to get healthy. Oh, that's what you want. Let's see if we can
Right.
shift some things around. Let's see if we can unfold this. So if you're in a situation where you're battling chronic depression, fuck yeah, that is a really horrible place to be. And to have somebody say, oh, you just have to think positive. That's
Well, it doesn't work. Yeah, I know. When I was like at my worst, I know I had to go through you have to go through stages. Like it's almost, and it's weird because it's a lot. I know that it kind of almost reflects the stages of mourning as you try to develop this new way of thinking. You have to go through. It's funny, I used to be a nurse, so I remember this. There's stages to mourning. You go through, there's nihilism, anger, bargaining, and you almost because I remember going through those stages as I'm trying to, because I still go through chronic depression. Sometimes it comes up and just, I don't know, you burn it off karma or whatever, but it still comes up and bites me in the ass.
it's I guess it's not like the cure all for everyone. It's just a step in the right direction, because
Right.
if you can become aware of the pattern, of the thought pattern, and you can make any alteration to that, that's a victory. That's a win. Any time that you can catch your thought process from falling into an unhealthy or negative pattern, and you say, hold up, and you correct it, even if it's just one time. That is one correction. That is one step in a right direction. That's one improvement. But look, because it's patterns. It's patterns. And even for those who, and I'm not a mental health expert. I didn't get a PhD in mental health. You know what I mean? I've got friends in my
PhD
life.
vibrations.
You're right. But you know, I've got people in my life who have wrestled with depression. I've got people in my life who have struggled with OCD. I've got people in my life who battle with anxiety. Like, there's a lot of when you can see the pattern and you can make some effort to get into that, to control that, I don't want to sound like I've only struggled with anxiety sometimes. I definitely battled with depression for about 5 years after my mom passed, still kind of dealing with that. And nobody ever really gets over the loss of a parent, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I do.
It's the patterns, you know what I mean? It's the recognition of those patterns and then being able to kind of stop them, you know? Or another common thing that people will do when they're utilizing the law of attraction is they'll be like, I'm thankful for, how do they say it? I'm so thankful that I will sell my car. They're trying to sell their car, right? And they're so thankful that they will sell it or that they're going to sell it. The problem with that is that you've put it in the future. It will always be in the future. And you'll never actually get it. It has to be in the present. And sometimes one of the cool things about the manifestation, using gratitude for manifestation, is you can be thankful for something before it happens, as if it's already happened, and it'll manifest faster. You know, like I am so thankful that this. I'm so thankful that I can't even think of an example right now.
I'm so thankful I have 1 million subscribers.
Holy moly! And then you wake up tomorrow and they're all there.
A girl can dream.
Right? It's true. It's true. And dreaming is good if you feel good about it, because it's that good feeling that perpetuates it's what gets the universe going. You know what I mean? So that's a thing.
So, before we go in much further, how can somebody get a hold of you if they wanted a reading? Because I know you say you do, because I know that's how we met. People, that's how we met. We met at the Psychic Fair in Charleston. Was it? It was last year? Year
2018?
before?
2018. We did.
What was it? I know there was another psychic there. This wasn't the first time we met, but the last psychic fair we went to, we had another psychic there. She was having a terrible day. Like, she didn't get any readings. We're all busting them out, getting paid, and she wasn't getting any readings. And then I sat down and we talked to her, and she told us this story about what was going on, and then boom, one after another. She made as much money as the rest of us did in literally 2 hours where we'd been working all day. You remember that?
I do. I don't remember where that was. Was that in Charleston too? Or was that Pagan?
Yeah, that was the next year. That was last year.
I don't remember what that event was. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was the psychic fair. That was last year. But we met before that. We met at the same event the year before.
Yeah, we've run into people. We've run into each other a couple different places reading. So anyway, what I meant to get, ADD in action. Where can people reach you for a psychic reading?
Okay, so you can send me an email to Zack Frame. That's ZACKN as in Nathaniel, frame like a picture frame @gmail.com. You can email me, or you can send an email there. You can find me on Facebook. Facebook is honestly the easiest. I am more attentive there. I check my email infrequently. If I know that something's coming, I'll check it. You know what I mean? If I'm expecting things, I'll do that. But if you really want to get a hold of me for a reading, your best bet is Facebook. get me there. You can find me at the Optimist Universe on Facebook. Um, you can find my personal profile. Although I don't add people as friends on Facebook unless I've met you in person. It's nothing personal. It's just my own
No, I
philosophy.
definitely I get that. I get that. If you haven't met somebody in person, you can't tell. Number one, you can't tell if they're a bot or if like. And this is awful, but I know I have a lot of people sometimes that will try to add me as friends because they'll find my personal profile before they find my professional profile. Like I get on there and ask you for a reading, I'm like,
Right, I understand that. I do. So, so there's nothing personal there. But like, I mean, if you, that doesn't mean you can't message me. You can still message me, but because Facebook does that thing where it kind of like puts messages in a separate area if you're not already friends, I don't always find those. But you can still message me. Like, but the email is probably good. Finding me on Facebook is good. Getting my Optimist page is fine. I do have an Instagram page. I never check it. It's also Zack Frame. I also have a Twitter page. I don't do that too often, but that's under the Optimist with 3 underscores. THE Optimist with 3 underscores, and that's my Twitter handle. So I have all of the social media. I don't use all of the social media because it is too much for little old me to handle. I am really kind of disabled. You can't see it because I look good, great face, but it's a lot of work for me. It's a lot of effort. So I don't usually do a whole lot. So if you really want a reading with me, you can find me. We can go. I do tarot card readings. I've got a few different oracle decks. I do mediumship, and the mediumship is always a trip. What'll happen is my neck will start to hurt if there's somebody who's asking for a message, and that's usually my sign that somebody's knocking. And because I don't see them and I don't hear them, I just feel them. It's usually a feeling communication. But gosh, that's a really great conversation too to talk about our first mediumship readings. Do you do mediumship, Dottie?
Okay, this is my catch line here. We're gonna go past half an hour. Screw it, we've actually got people watching. We're just gonna go. I do not tell myself as a medium because I can't make ghosts perform on command. You know what I mean? Like if it comes up, like if we're doing a regular reading and and Granny shows up and Granny's got a message for you, I'll pass that message along, but I'm charging for the reading because that is something I know I can do.
Right, that's fair.
But yeah, it's an action I can perform no matter what. Like I used to read at a bar, so I can read like with a boom box right here and people losing their minds elsewhere. I'm like, I can do that. I can't guarantee that, Pawpaw may not show up with the safe combination. Just saying.
Right, for sure. I'm on your page with that. I'm about the same way because I'll have people sit down looking for a mediumship reading, but I always tell them that it's not something I can guarantee. You know what I mean? Like I can close my eyes, I can reach out if somebody comes cool, but I can't guarantee you that, and
right.
I think most people seem to be okay with that too, and it's kind of the same thing. I kind of charge for the reading. But one of the things that I learned was that, and this was the psychic fair last year. It was the year before. Whichever year it was.
Twice. Yeah, I know we've done it twice.
I think it was my first. I think it was my first year. Yeah, it was. It was my first year because I had never done a mediumship reading in real life. I had only done. I used to work on a psychic website where it was a pay by the minute kind of situation.
Oh my God, I've done that too. I will do dirty talk before I go back there. Like if I hit the skids and I gotta go on the line to make my money, I will be a cam girl before I do the psychic hotline again. Just saying. That's where I am. I will be a cam girl first. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Especially online. I don't know what it was. I guess I picked a bad company. They tried to get me to do readings through a little text box. I'm like, this doesn't even have emojis.
Oh my
It was
land.
awful.
Well, I mean, so I had like done those kinds of mediumship readings before, but I hadn't done anything in real life. And so at the psychic fair in 2018, that was the first time I had somebody sit down at my table who asked for a mediumship reading. And she was this little old lady. She was probably 72 years old, cute little thing. And she sat down and she said, I'm here because I saw that you can do mediumship. And I said, all right, love, well, let's see what I can do. And I start shuffling my cards. And she's like, oh, no. No, I don't want you to use those. And I'm like, I mean, that's my tool, yo. Like that's how I decipher what I'm feeling. You know, like I'm not seeing them, I'm not hearing them, I just feel it. So without some context, I don't know how to make sense of that feeling. You know, so I explained to her like the story of my grandmother, because my grandmother was very religious, and she thought I was going to go to hell, and I got to read for her, and it turned out that we were communicating with the same highest good. So even before my grandmother died, she like endorsed my tarot reading, and I thought that was beautiful. As religious and conservative as she was, I was very thankful to have that moment before she passed, rest her soul. And so this old lady is at my table, and she's like, no, I don't want you to use those. And I just kind of looked at her, and I gave her my spiel, and she's like, I understand. And if you can't do the reading as a result, I understand. It's okay. I said, well, hell, I'll just give it a try, right? What's the worst that could happen? She's already paid the $20, and she's fine if I, don't have a great reading, whatever. Let's do this, So I closed my eyes. I said, 30, 35, 36, brown hair. She said, yeah, that's it, because I asked for his name, because I need a name usually to connect, and I asked for his name. And then I described him to her. And it's not like I saw the brown hair. It just felt like an age. It felt like brown hair. I don't know how to describe what brown hair feels like, but I felt it. And when I said that to her, she was like, oh, okay, yeah. She's like, that's him. And I said, okay, close my eyes again. And I said, do you have any messages for so-and-so? And all I got was glitter. And I looked at her.
I hate when you get this like, okay, well, this message is for you, not for me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
Right. And I said to her, I said, does glitter mean anything to you? And she looks at me and she says, no, I don't think so. And I said,
that's even worse.
It gets better. And I closed my eyes and I said, and I was like, well, you got anything else? And he said, and all I get is ladies man. And I said, oh, okay. And I asked her again, I said, was he a ladies man? And she says, no, I don't think so. And I closed my eyes again, and I'm like, and that's all I got. I said, sweetheart, that's all I got. I'm sorry. And then she's like, well, he has the twin brother. I'm surprised he didn't say anything. And so I closed my eyes, and I reached out to the twin brother, and he's like, like that's the energy I get from the twin brother. And I said to the lady, I said, he seems very standoffish, like, and she's just like, yeah, he never really did say much. And it wasn't until after I went home, after the fair, after everything was over, that energy stayed with me because I couldn't understand the message. Like I knew there was a message there. I didn't realize the message was just as much for me as it was for her. I was doing some research later. I was watching a couple of YouTube videos trying to figure out how I could accurately use my tarot to hone in on my mediumship readings. And this lady started talking about blah, blah, X and such, and that spirit tends to be drawn to people that they have the most in common with. And I thought, all of a sudden, glitter, ladies man. Her son was gay and was trying to come out to her from the other side. Blew my fucking mind.
That, Okay, so here, since we're talking about reading here, have you had this one happen? This is my favorite. I'll never forget. I had this guy. I was reading for him, and the whole time I'm like, so I feel like you've recently lost somebody. And I'll forget. He's like, no, I haven't lost anybody in a while. I'm like, okay. So the reading continues. I'm like, and then he asks me to talk to his buddy who's only been dead for 3 months. Like, didn't I just ask you if you recent 3 months? That's pretty recent to me.
That is pretty recent. That is pretty recent.
I'm like, it wasn't even like that. It was like, could you talk to my buddy? I'm like, and I reached out, I'm like, your buddy's still in like, he's still in that, you know, it seemed like spirits go through a phase once they pass on, like they pass over and they're almost unreachable for a certain amount of time before they come back. You doing all right?
Well, my neck was gone, and I was like, is this one of Dottie's dead people? Like,
It could be.
Do you have somebody that's trying to get your attention?
Probably my dad. He came to me in a dream the other day and I blew him off. Sorry, Dad.
It's just weird. It's just because I always get a little nervous because then I always get afraid I'm going to say something like stupid or ridiculous or whatever. But it is just kind of like I get this huffy sensation like, dude, like, why are you ignoring me even in death? Like I'm dead. Like, how much of a bother can I be? Like, why are you ignoring me? I don't know.
I'll totally let I'll totally let you pull a card if you need to figure out what he's saying.
I don't have them like within reach. All I have is the magician. And I can't just read you the magician just because that's what's in my hand. I feel like it's an acknowledgement. I feel like it's real simple. It's just an acknowledgement. Like when he leaves you signs and he leaves you nuggets to say, hey, I'm here. Like I feel like you respond with an eye roll. Is that true? Does that make sense to you? Do you eye roll when your dad leaves a presence?
Okay, so let me just tell you this right now. He actually came to me in a dream last night. Last night, I was dreaming of my father, and I dreamt that he was giving me this scowl, and I'm like, because you never know. Like, this is one of those things as a psychic, you really never know if you're just crazy. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. As a psychic, you never know if you are just a little batshit.
Just a little batshit.
Just a little batshit. Just a little going on here. Like, I have enough to prove to know that I am not. Like, I've seen things I know. Like, I've had that shit happen kind of moments. And this is one of them, actually. I'm kind of glad we're recording this. I literally had a dream about my dad last night where my camera equipment was laying on it because he used to be a merchant. He sold swords and stuff. And my camera equipment was laying on the table to be sold. And I'm like, my father would never put my stuff on the table to be sold. And now, like, looking back, that would make perfect sense since I'm here trying to sell myself, more or less, on camera. Like, this is my medium to try and make a little cash. So his dad, and I remember that his dad's like, look, as long as you're enjoying yourself, I don't care. I'm like, well, let's shut it down for Midnight Madness. Mom and I are going shopping. And Mom and I went shopping. And that's the dream. I totally blew my dad off. I totally blew him off last night in a dream. Love you, Dad. Sorry.
Wow. It's like even in your dreams. Oh my gosh. That's too much, Dottie. Well, your father loves you.
I know, and I love him too. Like, that's one thing I gotta say. I'm very proud of my family is our ability to tell each other that we love each other. Like, there's no question in my mind.
Well, that's something. Well, Dottie,
Literally last night, I had a dream about him.
That's too funny. Well, we're right at 40 minutes, Miss Dottie. If you think we should keep right on rolling, we could. But
you know what? Let's go ahead and wrap it up. I got to get these falsies off the bottom of my lid. Like it's starting to feel. It's not reaction, but somewhere like the eyeliner's kind of like a glue, and then there's actual glue involved, and this is about to come off.
Right. You have to call your makeup
This
artist.
is a moment for me. So, is there anything you want people to know? I know we covered how to get a hold of you. Text me later, and we'll put like some more details because I don't really have a whole lot of details in the description right now because we're just trying to throw it up or trying to get it on there.
Well,
So,
I thank you for the opportunity, Dottie, to kind of get my face out here and do a hashtag shameless self-promotion and getting us a chance just to share some general knowledge about our experiences with mediumship, talking about the schooling a little bit, sharing some of our own experiences, how to get a hold of me, at least, right? And I appreciate that, Dottie. It's been really great chatting with you.
It's been a lot of fun too. Okay, and tell me one more time, because it's not. What is the name of your YouTube channel that's active? Because I know you had two, and one of them's not active.
I'm gonna say Zack Frame at Gmail, or Zack Frame. Just the Zack Frame is the one that's active. I actually posted, I think, up to day 9 of the Fool's Journey on there so far. I do have the other video for today recorded. I haven't uploaded it. I didn't even acknowledge the fact that the magician was reversed today, but it's in the description, so you can gather that.
Go figure. I mean, that's very apropos.
It's
very
whatever,
apropos.
right? It's whatever.
Right? Sometimes that's just how it is. Okay. Well, I think it's gonna wrap it up. Don't forget that this month's cause of the month is the United States Census. West Virginia, we are lagging sadly behind. I think I got a report today that said we were at 4%. Like that's gonna affect. I mean, that affects our emergency support here. Like the emergency services are affected by that census. Let's get them in, people. Let's do this. So that's our cause of the month. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. I'm going to post links to all of Mr. Optimist's Zack's stuff in the description of below. Probably give me about a half an hour or so. Okay, that's about it. Wraps it up for me. Does that wrap it up for you?
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right. Safe travel and much profit to you.